Hello everyone, it's so incredible and great to have you here. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. If you're watching this live right now, a massive welcome to each and every one of you. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much for being here. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I love the fact that we have over 150,000 people registered for this 5-day coaching class. And welcome to day one. But just think about that for a moment. There are 150,000 people in the world that have decided to take this 5-day coaching class, which just shows that so many of us are looking for alternative answers, wisdom, transformative ideas. So many of us want to break through, want to have personal transformations in our day-to-day lives. And so I want to say a huge welcome to each and every one of you. Whether you want to expand your mind, whether you want to grow your wealth, whether you want to scale your business, whether you want to find meaning, whether you want to find purpose, whether you want to find fulfillment, you're in absolutely the right place. And I really, really want you to know that. And I want you to own that feeling that you've decided to be in that right place. I'm just going to say a lot of hellos to everyone who's joining in online. Nikki from Texas, Bobby from Tampa, Florida, great to see you. Maggie from Wisconsin, thank you so much for being here. Dorian from Romania, good to see you. Monica from Vancouver, Samantha from Alaska, good to see you. Nicole, thanks for being here. Rebecca from Pennsylvania, great to have you here as well. Lana from Bloomington, great to see you. From Illinois, I believe. Mark from South Africa, thanks for joining. Cuddy, so good to see you here. Viraj, great to see you here. Big up to everyone of the Genius family. If you're a Genius member, one of my Genius members, and you're in here, hello to you as well. Maggie, good to have you here from New York. That's brilliant. It's so great to see so many of you coming in online right now. And as I was saying earlier, if you want to expand your mind, if you want to find purpose and passion and meaning in your life, if you want to grow your business, if you want to get more focused in your life, you are in the right place. Let me know what made you join. I want to know in the comments. This is an interactive session. I'm going to be reading comments. I'm going to be asking questions, and I'm going to ask you to do some reflective, introspective exercises as well. So I want you to be engaged and involved. So let me know what it is that made you want to sign up. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear some of your intentions of why you decided to do these 5 days, right? There's a reason why you decided to be here. I want to know that reason. Type it in to the comments below. So as I was saying, for those of you who don't know, there are 150,000 people registered. We now have over 5,000 people live right now, which is absolutely insane to think about it, that you're currently watching this with over 6,000 people now, people from all over the world wanting the same growth as you, wanting the same goals as you. It's so hard to find a tribe or a community or a squad that wants to achieve the same things, but you're in that right now. So if you feel alone, remember this, you're not. If you feel like you're the only person in your space, in your family, in your friend circle that wants to grow, you're not now. You now have a global community through this 5 rules class for the next 5 days, which will last beyond it as well. And I want you to recognize that this isn't just about a coaching class. This isn't just about 5 days. This is about the next 5 months and the next 5 years of your life. These 5 days can have an impact on the next 5 months, that can have an impact on the next 5 years of your whole life. And trust me, so much can change in 5 months and so much can change in 5 years, but it all starts with 5 days. I know for a fact that when I went through all the changes in my life, it was small bursts of immersive growth and action that changed everything. And let me explain what I mean by that. We live in a world today where people say things like, do 1 minute a day, do 10 minutes a day, do 20 minutes a week, do 30 minutes a week. And while all of that is good advice and there is sound reasoning behind it, I want to tell you about something, a secret that goes one step further. Let me know if you're excited for the secret. Press that like and love button so that I know that you're excited. That secret, which is so important, that secret is that the key to real change, real growth, only happens through immersive experiences. An immersive experience is when you deeply dive into something in a condensed period of time so that you get such benefits, such lasting benefits that you want to do the 10 minutes a day. How many times have any of you ever tried to do something for 10 minutes a day, but you struggle for motivation? You struggle for growth. You struggle for change in your life. How many of you are wondering, Jay, I wish I could stop procrastinating? How many of you feel that way? How many of you feel, Jay, I wish I could stop overthinking? How many of you feel, Jay, I wish I could get over my fears? But how much time do we dedicate to that? Maybe 5 minutes a week, maybe 10 minutes a week, maybe 30 minutes a week. But when you're here for an hour a day, for 5 days in a row, trust me, you're going to feel not just information. These sessions aren't just informative, they're transformative. And the reason is because I've spent the last 13 years of my life dedicated to learning, studying, and absorbing, and then teaching and coaching and guiding on these principles. Spent the last 13 years fascinated by human behavior, how we think, how we believe, why we steal, why we cheat, why we lie. All of these things have been at the top of my mind and forefront of my mind, and I've wanted to improve human life. And that's why I'm so grateful that you're giving me this opportunity to guide you, to coach you, to be here with you, because I want you to get access to all the wisdom that I've been so gratefully had access to in my life very, very early on. So thank you so much for taking this responsibility. Thank you for taking these 5 days to make this happen. I'm now going to dive into a few of your comments because I love engaging with all of you. So when I'm reading one of your comments, even if it's not yours, put yourself in the shoes of that person, right? So if I'm reading a comment that's not yours, listen to it as if it's something you can grow from, because I guarantee you it will be. Becky Beam says, learning how to be happy from the inside out, regardless of situations going around me. Awesome. Hisham says, I've been raised and everyone is betting that I will fail in life, from my parents to my family to my colleagues at schools. Yeah, I've been marching against the odds. Hisham, well done. That's awesome to read. Krista, I have lots of thoughts and ambition, then the tiredness set in heavy as well. Okay, great. Who else? Tiffany, great to have you here. Awesome, Monica. We're going to break you through from that for sure. Rosalie says, hi, Jay. Watching from Maryland, I joined because I've lost the ability to focus on the positive because there's always so much negativity around me. How many of you experience that on a day-to-day basis? These are common things. And I want you to recognize as we do this, and when you read through the comments, you'll recognize there are multiple people with the same challenges as you. And what that does is that it brings our pressure down. We carry this pressure as if it's only our weight to carry, not realizing that a lot of us are carrying that weight together. When you realize that, you can breathe a sigh of relief and actually break through it as well. Heto says, I joined these classes so that I could find the roots of my insecurities and barriers that negatively impact my life. The two main ones are anxiety regarding my studies and loneliness. Thank you so much for sharing that. So all of you, whether your desire is to break through boundaries, whether it's to expand your mind, whether it's to become more focused, these next 5 days and my 5 rules, if you apply them, and trust me, everything I'm giving in these sessions is practical. It's application and action based. I want you to recognize that everything I say is not just to make nice philosophical statements, not just to make inspirational, motivational moments. Everything I'm going to say in these sessions is super actionable and super applicable. So you can actually apply them straight away and see action and results straight away, right? So I really, really want you to stay committed. We've got over 9,000 people in the world live right now. It's absolutely incredible to have each and every one of you here. Thank you so much for showing up. It's amazing to have all of you here. Now, I'm going to share with you, before we get going on day 1, I'm going to share with you how to get the most out of these 5 days, right? This is a coaching curriculum. This is organized. I have content that I can't wait to guide you through. But here are 3 ways that you can get the most out of these sessions. The first one is turn up to all the lives. There's only 5 of them, right? Instead of turning up in front of Netflix this week, instead of turning up in front of the TV this week, whatever it may be, turn up every single day for an hour. If you miss it, you can join the replay. You can watch the replay for a short amount of time, but don't count on those. Focus on turning up as much as you can. That's step number one. The second thing is bring a notebook, an iPad on the side, your laptop to type on, whatever it is. Bring a method, a place where you can actually track your thoughts. I'll tell you why. This is going to help you remember closely and also share this with other people as well. And that's the third principle. I want you to share your notes online on Instagram. You can tag me. If you tag me on Instagram or tag me on Twitter or tag me on Facebook, I'm going to try and respond and repost as many people's notes as I can as well. And make sure that you're sharing this with your partner, your friends, your colleagues. Because when we're teaching, when you're a student and a teacher at the same time, you learn so much better. And remember that. I want you to be students and teachers at the same time. I'm always focused on being a student and a teacher in my life. And I would love for all of you to be that as well. So the top 3 things to get the best out of these sessions: turn up to all the lives or quickly watch the replay if you miss it. Bring a notebook, an iPad, a laptop to actually make notes. Third thing, share your notes online with other people around you in any way possible. Megan says, I love that. Action and applicable knowledge for adaptation for each and every one of us for whatever reason we join for. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of the human mind and the human condition, that these 5 rules that I'm going to share across these 5 days, these are rules practiced by the most healthy, wealthy, and wise people in the world. These are not just things I made up. These are not just things that I thought of because we're doing this. These are from some of the most healthy, wealthy, and wise people in the world. People that I've personally spent time with, people that I've interviewed, people that I'm in communication with, people that I've grown with, people that I've learned from, people that I've coached and guided. And these are people who've been through some of the worst. These rules are from people who've been through rape, people who've lost people at young ages, people who've had failed businesses, people who've been broke. These rules are not rules of people who've always been successful. Remember, there's no one who's always been successful. It's a very important point that I want you to gather before we get going. There's no one who's always been successful, and there's no one who's always been happy. Anyone who's been successful or is successful has been a failure and has been unsuccessful, and anyone who's happy today has been unhappy and lacked meaning and lacked purpose. And it's so important that we recognize that completely. Zach says, I have so much potential but don't have the proper guidance to break through my insecurities, finding purpose and reach my goals. I believe you have the answers. Zach, you're in the right place. I'll tell you why. We got taught how to do math at school, but we were never told how to think. Right? We were never taught how to think. We were taught what to think. And this is one of the biggest challenges. We've never been taught how to think about our emotions, our potential. When you say, I've got potential, I'm so glad you recognize that. And I want each and every one of you to recognize that you have potential inside of you. You've just never been trained to bring it out. And this is such an important point, that if you've never been trained to bring it out, how can we expect you to do that all on your own? Right? So I'm not expecting you to do it on your own. I've had to work on it myself. I've worked on it with thousands of people, from athletes to executives to CEOs. And I want to work on it with you as well. I've worked with thousands of people at universities, companies over the last 13 years. And so I'm sharing things that are tried and tested. These are proven methods, right? These are not just ideas. They are proven methods. So I want you to have huge changes in your life. That's why everything is practical. Everything is application-based. How many of you want huge changes in your life? Let me know right now. Say yes in the comments. I'd love to see you say yes. So let's get going, right? Everyone ready? We're going to start day 1 of the day 5 coaching class of the 5 rules to create the life you want. Again, thank you so much for being here. A huge congratulations. You chose to take a step to make a difference in your life. That can only go one way, and that way is up, right? So it's great to see you here. And when I'm talking about success or happiness, I'm talking about however you define it. To me, success and happiness are different. We become successful by what we get. We become happy by what we give. Success is how other people feel about you. Happiness is how you feel about yourself. To me, happiness and success are about meaning, purpose, passion, impact, and fulfillment. That to me is real success in life. That to me is real meaning in life. Amy says, I agree. I strongly believe that I have the potential to go higher, but I can't seem to find the why to allow me to put that put in that effort to bring me up that. Absolutely. Well, you're in the right place, Amy. Stephanie, I joined because I find it hard to be motivated and be happy at times. I can be insecure and want to be happy and be focused and think differently than being negative. Brilliant. You're in the right place. Aruna says, there is so much I want to accomplish in life, and I know that I have the capability and the potential to achieve my goals, but I struggle to put in the necessary work at times, and I really want to work on that. Aruna, you're in the right place. Awesome. Isabel, I have aspirations and the zeal to achieve them. I only get demoralized when I remember how unfortunate I am to lack of material resources to actualize this dream. Isabel, you're in the right place. This is great. Awesome. Anjali says huge. So if you're excited, if you're ready to get focused, if you got your pen, your iPad, everything ready, whatever you're going to take your notes on, you're in the right place. Thank you so much for being here. We're about to start day one, right? We're about to start day one. So day one means rule one. I'm showing 5 rules across the 5 days. Rule number 1 is make peace with your past. You don't live there anymore. Make peace with your past because you don't live there anymore. If you don't live somewhere anymore and you haven't made peace with it, it means it's going to keep coming back up. It's going to keep resurfacing. It's going to find all sorts of ways to maneuver back into your life. How many times have you seen your past come back up in surprising situations? Now, the mind-blowing thing about this isn't about whether you worry about your past or not, because some of us believe we're over our past. Some of us, we believe we've healed our past, when actually what we've done is swept it under the carpet. We've just avoided it. And because we've avoided it, we think we're done with it. How many of us have that experience where you felt you were done with your past? You felt you'd broken through something. You felt you forgot about it. You kind of didn't ever you tolerated it. It never really affected you. How many of you, right? How many of you have ever experienced that your past kept resurfacing in different ways, right? In surprising ways. And you didn't even realize that your past was holding you back. And this is one of the biggest things in the world, that we don't even realize that our past is holding us back. And that past could have been the death of someone we loved when we were young. That past could have been something someone said to us at a particular moment in time. That past could have been failing an exam. That past could have been a past relationship. That past could have been the expectations of our parents. That past could have been obligations from our parents. That past could have been the types of friends we had. Whatever it may be, there is something in our past that's holding us back. And some of us feel like we're pulling forward, we're pushing forward, but something's always pulling you back. How many of you have had that experience in life where you are forcing yourself forward, but there's something always pulling you back? And this is why we have to make peace with our past. And a wise person once told me that the past was good for 2 things: to learn from and to remember the good times, the good memories. Right? Those are the only 2 reasons. But when your past is holding you down, it can be like a bad anchor, right? If a ship wants to move, the anchor can be the worst thing. And if a ship wants to stop, the anchor can be the best thing. But a ship wants to move forward and the anchor's deep down in the ocean, it's stopping it from moving. And our past is often like that. Right? Our past is often that thing. And so as painful as this is a place to start, I want to start here because we have to remove and push and let go of our past in order to move forward. A ship can't move forward until it pulls that anchor out, right? We can't move forward as long as something is holding us down. And sometimes the weight that's holding us down is our past. How many times have you felt that weight in your life? Your past is challenging you. Bradley Newman says, absolutely, Jay. I've gone through a horrible divorce where my ex-wife had an affair. I've just avoided feeling anything and facing it. I just forced forward. Exactly, Bradley. And thank you for sharing that and sending lots of love your way as well. I'm sure that wasn't easy. But when you're trying to force forward without feeling it and dealing it and healing it, and that's the 3 most important things. Like, we don't let ourselves, we try and say to ourselves, like, you just need to deal with this. How many of you have ever said to yourself, I just need to deal with this? And I say this in the most important, like this is so important, and it's such an important point. I highly recommend you write it down. You don't deal with something until you feel it and heal it, right? You don't and can't deal with something until you feel it and heal it. And what a lot of us do with pain, right? What a lot of us do with pain is that because we're too scared of facing it, because we're too scared of feeling it, we say, I'm going to deal with it. And what we mean by deal with it is you shelf it, you throw it away, you put it under the carpet. And when you don't feel it, you don't get a chance to heal it. And I want you to think about that in your life. How many things in your past did you just deal with rather than feeling and healing? Really think about that and ask yourself that question as well. Karina says, you know when you healed from your past when nothing is triggering you regarding any events from the past. Absolutely. That's brilliant. I love that. And I couldn't agree more. So Catalin says something great. And Catalin, maybe you're hitting a nerve here for a lot of people. This is a really frustrating topic for me because I feel like I have intellectually made peace with the past. That's what I mean by dealing, Catalin. So I'm going to teach you today how to feel it and how to heal it. It's going to work. It's going to be work, but we're going to get there, right? Nothing that's worth it comes easy. Think about anything in your life that's worth it, that's meaningful, that's powerful, that came easy. It didn't. So you're going to do this. Barbara, that's brilliant. I'm glad you're ready to push forward. So I want the commitment from all of you that we're going to push forward. I want the commitment for you that you are ready to push forward. So how many of us have spent our family gatherings, friend gatherings, reunions, whatever it is, we keep thinking about the past, right? We keep thinking about the past. And the New York Times said most people report thinking about the past at least once a week, and nearly half of us, 50% of us, experience it 3 to 4 times a week. So this is common. So I want you to understand, first of all, I want you to remember when you feel you're holding the burden, realize we're all holding it together, right? We're all going through the same thing, right? We're all going through the same thing. And I want you to recognize that as we start. So one of the biggest challenges with this is our past is either pulling us back, right? Our past is pulling us back through people, through places, through people and places mainly. Those are the two ones. And this is why one of the biggest things that I'll come on to a bit more later is how much of our past is tied around people and places. I'm sure you can think about those things right now as well. And what I'm doing for you right now, whether you know it or not, is I'm raising your awareness of what to spot in your life so that you know how to deal with it. The challenge is we don't know how to feel and heal because we're not even aware. So hopefully this is helping you right now. Let me know if this session is already helping you. If this is helping you right now, tell me in the comments. Keep pressing that like and love button. Say yes. Let me know how this is already helping you. Formulate, think, raise your awareness, right? So what I'm going to share with you now is that there are 4 types of pain of the past which we feel most often. And when I say these, I want you to think about which one you're experiencing in your life, right? And it's absolutely different for everyone. So I don't want you to, you may have all of them, but I really want you to be careful. Now, this is the first question I have to ask you, right? This is the first question that I have to ask you. Does your past hold you back because you feel guilty about something? How many of you are held back by your past because you feel guilty about something? Now, we all feel that, right? So don't worry, it's not just you. We all feel guilty about stuff. Now, listen to this carefully. Let's fix that, right? Think about what you think you did wrong and consider this. What could you have done differently? So maybe there's something in your past that you wished it did differently because you feel guilty about it. Tell me what it is and what you could do about it, what you would do about it differently, right? Think about that. Write it down for yourself. You don't have to share in the group if you don't feel comfortable. Ty says, this is amazing. Thank you so much. It's helping me not feel guilty for not holding on to the past. Awesome, Prashani. Hoops, listen to me carefully. I'm going to guide you through that. I'm going to teach you exactly how to I'm going to teach you exactly how to uproot that anchor, right? Stay here with me. Don't worry about that at all. Stay here. So one of the biggest things that's going to happen in these sessions is your mind's going to say to you, all right, now what? What do I do now? Let me solve this now. Your mind's going to force you. Why? Because your mind wants to stay lazy. Your mind wants to live in the same frame right now because it's certain and safe. So sometimes you have to stay with me. I'm going to guide you through that process. Carol says, this is awesome, Jay, because I thought I was over the betrayal of my husband, but I honestly was just dealing with it and burying my feelings. Absolutely, Eve. I know it's challenging, but we're going to do it together. And this is the beauty of doing this together in live right now. We're doing it together, right? It's helping me, says Patrick. Awesome. This is brilliant. Cerise says, this is opening my feelings up that I buried down deep. It's great. Brilliant. Amanda thinks she can move forward. This is awesome. Awareness is everything, says Gozi. Awesome. It's great. So I'm so happy you guys are feeling positive and strong about this because we're working on it together. Now, the most amazing thing about anything you wish you did differently in the past is that you can make that difference now. And what you have to understand is that when you recreate a habit or something you wish you did in the past, when you recreate that now, it heals you. When you just live in the past and say, I wish I could have done that. I wish I could have sold that. It would have been so fun to be able to do that. When you think like that, right? When you think like that, you stop yourself from attracting that positive, powerful energy right now. Whereas when you make the switch right now, you've almost solved it forever. Because when you push forward and make an alteration in your character and the way you deal with it right now, it makes a huge, huge change. So I want you to remember this. Anything you wish you did differently in the past, do it differently now. It will change everything about how you feel. So if your biggest pain of the past is you wish you did something differently and you feel guilty for it, you can remove that guilt by every person you meet now by doing it differently, right? By doing it differently. I have a friend who his thing was, and he had this in a big way, right? He had this in a huge, huge, huge way. He had the opportunity to help someone simply by giving them food, and he didn't, and later found out that they died, right? And when he had that experience, he felt guilty for it forever. And when he met me, he told me about this, about how he felt guilty for it. How he found out that that person died and he could have helped them, but he didn't help them. And that guilt was just weighing him down. And can you imagine that? Finding out that you could have given someone food and you didn't, and then that person died and you were that reason, like carrying that, that's heavy, right? That's really heavy. Since that day, every time he sees a homeless person, he sees someone starving, he gives them one thing. Every year, as much as he can do for homeless people based on how much he earns and how much spare time he has, he makes sure he makes time to go out and feed the homeless. He has actionably healed himself. Through that action, he's healed himself. This is the power of healing yourself through changed behavior today. The best apology is changed behavior. The best apology, the best cure for guilt is changed behavior. When you change what you do today, you change what you do forever, right? When you change what you do today, you impact the past and the future, and you impact multiple lives. So yes, you feel guilty about what you did to one person. It switches when you start helping more than one person, right? Start there. Now, how many of us feel ashamed of something in the past? How many of us are held back in our past because we feel ashamed of something? Maybe it was a bad grade, right? Maybe it was a bad performance review at work. Maybe it was failing something at school. Whatever it was, right? How many of us feel ashamed about something? The way to heal shame is to bring into the light of truth. Shame is this like nasty feeling that we carry, and it can only thrive in dark, hidden places of your heart. So since you're as sick as your secrets, the way you heal shame is to tell on yourself. Right? This sounds counterintuitive, but the way you heal shame is that you tell on yourself. The reason why shame holds us back so much is because we've locked it away in our hearts in this dark place because we're scared of admitting it, and we feel like we're going to be judged for it, and we feel like we're not going to be trusted for it. But guess what? When we meet with our most trusted person and reasonable, healthy person and say, hey, this is what I'm ashamed about, right? You don't need them to resolve anything or anything like that. But you just need them to listen. And when you share it with someone who's non-judgmental in your life, it can change anything. And shame is particularly horrible and destructive because shame makes you feel I am bad rather than I've done something bad. And the truth is, shame is I may have done something wrong, not I am wrong. And that's the challenge we say, right? The challenge that we do is that we think I am guilty, I am shameful, but you're not. You just did one thing. You're not defined by one event in your life. Don't let one event become the definition of how you live the rest of your life. Amy says 100%. I think that's why I legit tell everyone I know what I did, but it's also a punishment for me too in a weird way. And don't see it as a punishment. See it as relieving that, right? As well, in a good way. Jaslyn says, yes. Oh my God, yes, ashamed of things. Exactly. And when we reveal that, we stop that shame from building up in this dark area of our life, right? We stop it from happening, right? Awesome. This is great. So much reflection. So, how many of us regret something? We all regret something, right? And the best way to regret something is to learn from it and make sure you don't do it again. And this is huge. Like this rule of life of making peace with your past. We make peace with our past when we learn a lesson. So what I want you to write down is everything that you're currently writing in the comments. I want you to make a column on your piece of paper and write down everything in your life that has caused you pain in your past. Just the 3 things. And I want you to write what you learned from it, a positive thing that you learned from it. Maybe it was how to build trust rather than just giving it away. How many of us just give away trust? We meet someone, we like them, and we go, you have my trust, I trust you. How many of us have done that? So how many of us have now realized that we have to let the person earn our trust? How many of us now realize that trust isn't something you give it away, it's something that's earned by that person from you? Right? That's a powerful lesson because it saves you. It's the same as when we were kids and we fell over by playing in the wrong area. How many of us realized that you don't do that anymore? And we stop applying that principle. As we grow up, we start judging ourselves. As we grow up, we start criticizing ourselves. But as kids, if you did something wrong, you just learn that you don't do it again. Like, for example, as a child, if you put your hand in the fire and you burnt yourself on a candle or whatever it was, you knew not to put your hand in the fire. You don't judge yourself for putting your hand in the fire. So why do we judge ourselves for the mistakes we make mentally, emotionally? Does that make sense? Like when you're a child, and the thing is, even when we're growing and maturing emotionally, we make childlike mistakes. When we're still emotionally a child, we make mistakes. And emotionally, we grow later than our age. It's very hard because we have to become adults by the time we're 18 years old, and we still feel like children. That's because emotionally we're still like children, even though physically we're like adults. Recognize the difference. You may be physically like an adult. You may even have the job of an adult or a career of an adult. But if you're emotionally still a child and you're still growing, you're going to make mistakes. So if a child puts their hand on the candle, we're not going to shout at the child and be like, you're so silly, you're so stupid. And that child's not going to judge themselves. The child just learns from it. Right? The child just learns from it and grows from it. And so what have we learned? I want you to write down the lesson that you have gained from all of the mistakes you've made, right? I want you to write down I want you to write down what you've gained, right? What have you gained in terms of lessons from your past? And I know this is challenging. I know it's tough. I know I'm really pushing you guys on day one, but the reason why I'm pushing you guys on day one is that I genuinely believe that you breaking through this on day one, everything becomes easy. The hardest thing is pulling that anchor out. And when you pull it out with me on day one, you're just going to be moving through, right? The best way to start is doing the toughest thing first. When you start with the easiest thing, you think, oh, that was easy. Like, oh, obviously I got that. When you break through this, you're going to believe, right? You're really going to do this. And it's not going to happen right now, but you're going to make notes and you're going to be huge and break through. Emily Wright says, that's huge. We assume that as adults, we're fully evolved, even though we accept our bodies continue to change. We forget our minds can do that too. Incredible. Amazing. Absolutely. Sayo says, oh my God, this is brilliant. I always just trust people if I feel like I should, rather than giving them time to get to know the person and let them build my trust. Absolutely. This is great. This is awesome. Awesome. Gozi says, I've gained self-love and self-respect. This is brilliant. Now, let me see a few more comments. How many of you, tell me what you're learning from this. What are you taking away right now? I hope you're learning so much. I hope you're having breakthroughs. I hope you're having transformations. I know it's happening for you. And this is the most incredible thing about this work. It's happening without you knowing. As soon as you start recognizing what you learned from your past, you're healing it in the same moment. This isn't something that you write down and then you heal. You're healing while you're writing. Right? Remember that you're healing while you're writing. It's all part of the process. It's all happening. I want you to really write down what you've learned. Take a few moments right now to write down what you've learned. Right? Take a few moments to really write down what you've learned. And I'll tell you why writing is so important. And I'll tell you why thinking is not enough. If you've ever tried to save a new file on your computer with the same name as an older file, you were warned that if you continue, the new file will overwrite the old one. The new file will replace the old one and the past file will be erased from the computer's memory. Your brain is a human computer and your memories are the files. You need to overwrite the old file and replace it with the new. That's what we're doing. Remember this very carefully, this analogy. Your brain is a human computer and your memories are the files. When you rewrite a memory as a lesson, it becomes a lesson. So when your memory is you made a mistake and you rewrite or overwrite the mistake as a lesson, it becomes a lesson. When you learn from your mistakes, they're no longer mistakes, they're lessons. So when you're overwriting, right now, when you're writing, you're editing the saved memory that feels like a mistake, you're editing it to a lesson. That's what you're doing. So the deeper you take that lesson in what you learned, you're changing that regret, you're changing that sorrow, you're changing that pain, you're changing that guilt into learning. Learning is the number one currency of growth. When you're learning, you're healing, right? Recognize, this is one of my favorite points that I'm making right now. Your brain is like a computer. Your memories are like the files. We are resaving the file as a lesson. It's no longer a mistake, right? You've learned from it. And if you haven't learned from it yet, the point is I want you to learn from it now. So if you're like, I've learned nothing, I want you to think, what have I learned and how am I going to apply it? Step one of learning is knowledge and awareness, even if it's theoretical. Step two is living it, right? Step two is living it. But I want you to learn from it right now. I want you to learn from each thing of your past that looks like a mistake, right? And now, of course, we know that what happened in the past has happened. There's no getting away from that. But you can overwrite a bad memory with a good one. Instead of dwelling on a terrible memory, think of something that happened in your past that you learned from, that made you smile, that brought you greatness in your life, and switch up that memory, right? Amazing. These lessons are incredible. Kimberly says, I've learned to love myself and to stop letting what happens around me affect my happiness. Samantha says, it's wonderful to hear. That's exactly how I feel. The child in me is still learning every day. I need to learn to judge myself less. Beautiful. Rachel says, what have I learned from my past? To trust my instincts. That when something feels wrong, to go with that. To not be afraid of change. These are beautiful lessons, everyone. Trudy says, this is confirmation that I'm on the right path. I started the process of healing and changing who I am. This is helping me and my past. Amazing. Veronica says, one of your videos changed my life. I stopped chasing people and forcing them to make time for me. So I lost four top people in my life, but that's okay. Amazing. Teresa says, I learned how to master my mind. I'm not all there yet, but I will be. That's beautiful. This is my Harry Potter glass. Yes. I keep trying to make everyone else around me happy, Hanu says, and I regret that. So now I'm learning from that. That's brilliant. This is great. Pam says, I've learned to speak up for myself. Do you know how many lessons there are on this feed right now? We have over 10,000 people live right now, and the lessons you all are sharing are absolutely incredible. Now, think about this. I want you to write down these lessons, because next I want you to think about how you're going to apply them moving forward. The challenge is, so many of you are saying, I learned to trust my intuition, I learned to trust my gut. But then tomorrow there'll be a challenge and you may not test it or you may not trust it. But when you write it down, you will. When you write it down and you repeat this, it will happen. Simone says, I love this way of dealing with it. Amazing. Intuition seems to be the biggest one for so many of you. So many of us ignore our intuition because of people around us, not realizing our intuition is always guiding us. When you meet someone and you don't feel they have the right energy, you're usually right. When you meet someone and you don't get the right sense from them, it's usually right. Right? So the way we do this is we write this down so that we can practice what's right. So now I want to walk you through how we make peace with our past in more depth. And I want you to practice this as we go on. And I want you to write down what are the reasons that you absolutely want to let go of your past. And I want them to be positive. So I don't want them to be like, because my past is bad or my past is holding me back. I want them to be because I'm excited about my children. I love my partner and I want to have an amazing life. I'm building an incredible company or career. I'm happy with my family life, right? So I want to know the reasons, the positive reasons as to why you want to make peace with your past. Not want to, why you must make peace with your past. Why must you make peace with your past? Because of the positive reasons. So I want you to list at least 3 positive reasons as to why you want to make peace with your past. So I want to make peace with my past because I want to have an incredible relationship with my wife and build an incredible world of impact, right? I want to make peace with my past because I want to serve humanity and make a bigger difference in the world. I want to make peace with my past because I don't want to live there anymore. See, that's a negative example. So I don't want you to say things like, I want to make peace with my past because I had a lot of pain there. No, that's your past pulling you back. I want to make peace with my past because I'm excited about something in the future that I'm building right now. That's where the present takes over the past. That's where the present becomes a bigger priority. Right? That's where the present becomes a bigger priority. So I want you to write down 3 powerful statements. 3 absolute reasons why you no longer want to live in your past. And I want you to write them down right now. Right? And this is what's giving you a clear sense of purpose in the present. This is giving you a clear sense of priorities in the present. When you recognize that your present is filled with so much beauty, so much potential, so many possibilities, you won't trade it for the past. That's what we're doing. We're trading our present for the past because we think the past is more important. But when we recognize the importance and the significance of today and the present, you no longer want to be drained away from the past. You just won't do that. You just won't let that happen because it's so powerful. I'll give you an example, right? Let's say in the past, I'm making this up obviously as a hypothetical situation. Let's say in the past, you never had access, right, to anything of any value. And today you have access to diamonds. You're not going to go waste your time on the past because you have access to something greater today. And that's what all of us have access to. We have access to infinite potential today, but we're trading it for the past because we haven't realized the significance of today. So the only way you realize the significance of today is by coming up with these 3 powerful statements of must reasons of why you're letting go of your past, why you're making peace with your past, because you've got so much to be excited for today, because you've got so much to build today. And we all do, right? We all do. Amazing. This is awesome. It's lovely seeing all the hearts flying through. Guys, just take a moment in your feeds to just witness all that beautiful energy flying through. There is so much blessing, prayer, positive vibes, and meditation flying through to you right now from me and from everyone else in this space. We're all healing together. And I want you to recognize this point. There are 10,000 people right now healing together. It's so powerful, right? It's amazing. It's so great to be with you guys right now. Now I want you to make a list of every possibility that you're currently excited about and grateful for. These are things that are already happening, not things that might happen, not things that you're envisioning to happen, but things that are happening right now. Brenda says, I'm excited for an amazing partnership full of trust and love. Beautiful. I want to have a positive impact on the world. I want my children to experience unconditional love and self-worth. Brenda, you're spot on. I love that. Kimaya says, I want to make peace with my past so I can utilize my potential to help people, to live a blissful life with my partner when I meet the right person and make my family proud and happy about having me. Now, see, when you build that mindset, you're pushing forward. You're creating the world you want to live in. You're already the 5 rules to create the life you want. When we make peace with our past, we give ourselves permission to create the life we want. That's what we're doing. We're just giving ourselves permission. When we live in the past, we're blocking that, right? We're completely blocking that. Shraddha says, I'm excited about actually serving as a doctor and making a real difference. I want to forget the past because my true love is in me, around me, and I want to appreciate that. That's beautiful. Chad says, I have an opportunity to mold young minds. Big opportunities being created out of nowhere career-wise, and I don't want to screw it up. I want to be happier. Brilliant. Seth Harris, in order to A, have a happier and healthier relationship with my wife and children, B, excited about changing my mindset to be more applied versus intellectual optimism and positivity. That's what we're talking about, Seth. And this is why these activities and exercises are healing you right now. Thank you, Seth, for sharing. Sally, I'm excited to get to know the real me and find out what's going on with my food condition and my new life as an injured individual and love it with all my soul. Beautiful. This is brilliant, guys. I'm loving all these answers. Naina says, I want to empower people to understand what their dreams are and find their true greatness. Amazing. So when we get fascinated and excited about our present, that's when we stop overthinking about the past. When we get focused, fixated, addicted, absorbed in our present, we stop worrying about the past. We're only fixated on the past when we don't invest in our present. And this activity of just thinking about the things you want to invest in your present can change everything. They're so empowering. And what I want you to do is when you write this statement, I want you to read it out to yourself right now. Whatever you've written down, the 3 powerful statements, I want you to read them out to yourself out loud. That's why I'm reading some to you, but I want you to read yours out to yourself. And just when you read it, take a moment and think about how powerful you feel when you read it. When you read it, think about how confident you feel when you're reading it to yourself. Take a moment right now to read it to yourself. Chavita says, I'm excited about my fiancé moving in with me and looking forward to the amazing life we're going to have. Amazing. Claire Elizabeth, I want to let go of my past because 1, I want to be able to serve fully and presently. 2, trust myself and others who have earned it. 3, curious about the changes positive future will bring for me and my future generations. Amazing. It's awesome. Christine says, I'm making peace with my past because I'm ready to welcome my soulmate into my life. I'm ready to serve humanity and make impact. The future is bright and the possibilities are unlimited. Look how empowering that is when you think about life that way. This is so great, guys. Just read out yours to yourself. They are so powerful. Great to see so many Genius members here as well, still benefiting, still growing. So many of my Genius community, thanks for being here. This is awesome, everyone. This is so, so great. One of the things I want you to do tangibly to move on from your past is I want you to remove physical objects and triggers. Anything that you can remove that physically reminds you of the past is powerful. Whether it's an item of clothing, whether it's an image, whether it's a gift, whether it's a letter, removing physical reminders are huge ways of moving on from the past. Removing any sort of visual cue is huge as well, right? That really, really helps in letting go. That really helps in moving on from the past, right? Really super helps moving on from the past. And so many of these things are underrated. We have so many things around us that we don't need to have around us, but we still do, right? Really think about those things in your life. Like I said, you really let go of the past when you learn from it. So right now, imagine you have a cup and it's full of the past. You don't have time for the present. But if you pour it out and you fill it up with the present, then you're full with the present. And that's what it is. We have to become full with the present. And the way you become full with the present is possibilities, excitement, potential, focus of today, right? Focus of today is what makes all the difference. It changes everything, right? It changes everything. And that's one of the biggest ways we make mistakes, because we don't fill ourselves up with the present. And this is a big part of it, that what I'm encouraging you to do here is you're really being encouraged to feel it and therefore heal it rather than just deal with it. And so if you feel like you've just never done this before, this is why it's been hard to get rid of it. And I'm not saying that you forget the past, right? It's just that you forgive it and you move on from it. It's accepting that. It's accepting that's what's happened. And living in the past, we all know that brings us no benefit in the future. How many of us want to live that way? Why are we living our lives in that way? Right? Why are we doing that to ourselves? And you can't remove a person who's still existent in your present from your past. Absolutely. You can't remove them. But there's something that I call the rule of one. You limit the amount of time you spend with them. So you may not even be able to distance yourself from them, but you limit the amount of time you spend with them. So I call something the rule of one, which is the rule of 1 hour, 1 week, 1 day, 1 month, right? You figure out where that person fits. The other thing is, and this is a more important one, we think dealing with our past and healing our past is about letting go of that. It's so much more about inviting new. We're so fixated on that one person from our past that makes it tough, but we can get so excited, right? We can get so excited about today, about the people in our life today. So for every one person in your past that brings you down, have 3 people in your present that bring you up. Right? For every one person you have in your past that makes life hard, have 3 people in your life today that make it amazing. See, letting go of the past isn't just constantly thinking about the past and trying to figure it out. It's about making the present so exciting, so fulfilling, and so meaningful. That's the place to do it. That's how to start. That's where to go with it. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. It's so important. If you get excited about the present, if you get fulfilled through the present, if you make new bonds, new connections, new relationships, new powerful collaborations, the past will no longer weigh you down, right? The past will no longer weigh you down. Everyone, this has been an incredible day 1. Believe it or not, it's nearly been an hour since we started. Absolutely incredible. I hope you enjoyed that session. Now, there's been a lot to think about. You can watch over the replay. Make sure everyone else in this sees as well. Share it with them as well if you like. Make your own notes, post them, go through the exercises again. This wasn't meant to be a quick fix, but this is the rule to create the life you want. You have to move away from your past. The way you move away from your past is making your present dynamic, exciting, and full of possibilities. I'm doing this because I believe that you love my videos, you've connected with my content, and you want to go a step further. A step further requires a bit of work. This was the first day in the gym. This is the mind gym. This is the soul gym. This is the heart gym. This is your first day in the heart gym, the soul gym, the mind gym, right? It's hard on the first day. You're trying to figure out how to use all the equipment. You're looking at the machines and you're like, oh, I'm not sure how to use that. You're looking around at everyone else going, oh my God, maybe they've been in here for longer. It's overwhelming sometimes. But the point is you made it. And I want you to know that you made it. You took this step. No one forced you to do it. No one made you turn up today. You were here. Turn up for the 5 days. Trust the process. Trust the process. Don't let your mind get the better of you. Your mind's going to be like, oh, it's too much work. I don't think I can do this again tomorrow. I don't think I can push through tomorrow. But guess what? You just did the hardest session. You're going to break through tomorrow, right? Don't let your mind trick you. Don't let your mind trick you into settling for less. You deserve an incredible life. You deserve an incredible future. Amazing things will happen. Don't let your mind that is untrained beat you, right? Don't let your untrained mind beat you. Maria says, this was an amazing session. Thank you, Jay. Great community and great ideas. Love writing them down in my notebook and definitely feeling good. Ruth Major says, no way, too quickly, but lovely homework for myself. That's awesome. Dana says, this is so refreshing, Jay. Thank you so much. Barbara says, thanks, Jay. I'm glad I got up at 5 a.m. this morning. Barbara, huge, amazing. Well done for doing that. That's brilliant. Yezi says, thank you, everyone, for being here. Can't wait for tomorrow. Absolutely. Shelly says, I will forever be grateful to Ellen DeGeneres for recommending you to her viewers. Shelly, thank you so much. And Ellen is such a huge supporter. She's been so incredible to me. Thank you so much. Banner says, it was great. Thank you. I've noted all the things that you said. Brilliant. Sarah says, thank you. This has been awesome. Definitely a bit overwhelming, but such a great learning experience and so empowering. Renee says, thank you beyond anything I can say. You're an amazing inspiration. Thank you, Renee. This is the first day at the gym. Do not let the first day turn you away, right? Do not let the first day turn you away. You've done the hard work to be here. Olivia says, yes, the mind gym, heart gym, soul gym. I made it here with thousands of beautiful people. I'm inspired. CJ says, this has been amazing. I wanted to watch and listen tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be watching again and taking notes. It's the best way for me to work through. This is brilliant. I'm so glad to see all of this positivity flying through. Make sure you mark yourself as going in tomorrow's event to get a reminder. So if you say in the event section on Facebook that you're going, right, you get a reminder. Make sure you do that. Zachary says, what a great way to start my weekend. Thank you so much for leading 10,000 of us through the initial stages of awareness healing. Absolutely. And one day we'll do this in person, everyone. This is just the beginning. Louise says, thank you for shifting our perspective to the positive and for letting us know we need to feel in order to positively heal. Absolutely. Don't just deal with your life. Feel it and then heal it, everyone. Mercy says, thank you so much, Jay. Awesome. Thank you for all this, says Pratik. Leah, thank you for being up at 3 a.m. in Manila. Maria, so grateful. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. I will see you tomorrow at the same time, the same place. Do not miss it. Share your learnings. Go through the exercises. First day at the gym. Come back for round 2. Do not let the first day turn you away. Let the second day make you feel that progress. You will start feeling progress tomorrow when you turn up, right? You will start feeling progress tomorrow when you turn up. I'll see you there. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a great day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. So much love, so much gratitude. See you tomorrow.